Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 989 of our daily content grind. I cannot believe next week is number 1000. Oh my, that's insanity to me. We'll see if I make it, because we still got a week and a half to go, and you never know. But I intend to. Just as I intend to talk about all of the news that we missed over the last week in Transformers, and guess what? There's a lot of it, so you'll excuse me if I try to be very brief with some of this stuff, because a lot of it is just an extra look at things we've already seen. For instance, Tidal Wave got into somebody's hands, so now we have some better angles, we have some good examples of its posability, and more importantly, size comparisons, which is always helpful. I'm terrified that this thing is going to hit my bank account at the last minute, like not even notice it. It's horrifying to me. You can see him there with Megatron, with Commander Armada Optimus, so that's a pretty good idea of his scale. There's some good look at his posability. Quite posable on this big guy. I like it a lot. Let me see. The one example here, there's the Dark Fleet. We did get a few things here. So the instructions do intend for you to attach the Dark Fleet to Megatron's shoulders, which I think is the whole reason why they're like a firm static element to the design and don't have any articulation themselves. But you can also just mount them on the arms. Now, if yours does not have the joint strength for this, then obviously do not attempt it. I do think it shows the wings a lot better, which you cannot see with these things mounted on the shoulders. So there is that. So good on Hasbro for allowing that option. I don't know how viable it's going to be on yours, but there you go. And there's the picture I really wanted, which is the comparison with the Titans. So taller than the Combiner ones, which makes sense because he is technically a combining Titan in a weird way. But definitely a lot shorter than like the likes of Scorponok and, you know, the more traditional looking Titans. I wish there was one with Omega Supreme, because Omega Supreme is a little bit smaller than the Scorponok mold, so I think that'd be a little bit more of a fair grade to it. We do account for the fact that it's a lot more heavily painted and it's going to be a lot more complicated than the Scorponok figure, which admittedly is very big but very simple. This one has a lot more of a robust element of transformation and engineering to it, so we account for that when we look at the price point of this. I'm still very, very excited for this. I just really don't need it to hit my bank account in the next month because it got released early like everything else. I'm begging that August release date holds firm. I am looking forward to it, though. We had some interesting leaks. So here we have a look at what seems to be Generations Small Foot from the upcoming G1 Gobot 3-pack, which we know is an homage to the eHobby set of repaints that were released. They were emulating Gobots and named after Gobots, but not really officially. It's a super weird set. It's a super weird set when you look at it fictionally. But this is the Small Foot. I'm not a fan of the pink face. That seems a little too far. That wasn't something. I don't believe that was something the original one did. And also just like, it just seems flat. Like, it just seems flat. There's so many details that don't feel like they should be just like painted over pink for no reason. But the vehicle mode does look considerably different in the yellow with the black windows. So that is nice to see. I really like that. Because admittedly, these two do look pretty similar to each other when they're in robot mode. The reds and grays are exactly the same. And yellow is kind of like a secondary player in the color scheme. So it's nice that the vehicle mode is drastically different. I will take that. It's a good mold too, so I'm not going to mind owning it again. But we also got to look at Treds, who is also from the supposed 3-pack. Offhand, I know the third was mentioned, and I can't remember what the third actually was supposed to be. Yeah, so, but we at least have the two. We at least have the two. And Warpath is one of those toys we've observed in the past that rarely gets a repaint, so I'm glad to see one coming out. And he does look good in the military green. A little bit simplistic as a redeco goes, but that's not a big surprise on a Minibot redeco, because they're generally, you know, very simple when they are repainted as it is. And there he is with a whole bunch of other Gobot homages. Well, you know, obviously not that take on Pipes, obviously, but Road Ranger and Bug Bite, they definitely add to this. Cool to see. Yeah, so you got these like weird little combination of Gobot homages on the way. At least 3 more to go with all the ones that are currently out. There's no mold to do the Power Glide from that set. I'm still waiting on a modern Power Glide, Hasbro. Speaking of smaller figures, we have another in-hand look at 86 Bumblebee. We'll just breeze through this because what I'm most interested in is the comparison shots to some of the past ones. Because we've seen plenty of this toy at this point. We know it's A-level, which means it's going to be all over the place. Very easy to buy. It does look very, very good despite its small size. No part forming, which is a huge improvement over the previous Bumblebee. And there is the comparison shot. So, yeah, compared to the other 3, it's not the Volkswagen Bumblebee on the right, it's the multi-pack one, but it still works. And then the Origin on the left. So, yeah, they're keeping the size very, very consistent across all of them. And they are doing a lot of differences. There's no, like, reused parts or anything. Even the head sculpt is different than the previous versions, so it's nice to see. Nice to see there's as much variety here as possible. Again, the toy does look very, very good. I'm looking forward to it. It might become my default Bumblebee. We will see. Alright. Now, moving on from these two, appropriate that these two are the ones on display because the next one up is, yes, there is a 2-pack coming out to complete your dead Autobot shuttle crew from the 86 movie, Brawn and Ratchet in full dying format. This is so morbid. I am not a fan of these packs, but for the ones who really like their battle damage toys, they are on the way. As you can see, again, it seems like Buzzworthy is just completely dead at this point as far as being a subline goes. These are just Studio Series and like this weird mixed up, like mashed together box. There we have the good shots of it now. Yeah, so Brawn, I still firmly believe a shot in the shoulder, not there in the chest. But you can't really mount a port for a blast effect onto the shoulder, so I get it. He's looking very unhappy. Very unhappy indeed. Yeah, see, with a blast effect, it looks great. No real damage in the vehicle mode. That's actually kind of weird. Prowl and Ironhide previously made sure that there was some visible damage in the vehicle mode, so that's a little off. And then Ratchet is basically, yeah, he's just using the same chest as Ironhide, same level of damage. Yeah, this is just dead Autobots. I don't understand who at Hasbro thought this was a thing, but considering the last set sold so bad, I'm amazed they're going through with the other set. I'm also really frustrated that if I want versions of these characters with opaque plastic for the windows, this is the option I have to go with, the heavily battle damaged one with those screaming I'm dying faces. Ugh, I don't like it. I don't like it. It feels nasty. Here's another in-package toy that we get to look at. So, Vector Prime in box, looking pretty good. Shoulders folded down, no surprise. He does seem like he fits that box pretty well. This is just a simple look at how the box looks, and it does look really nice. Can't fault the packaging designers from Hasbro. We also get to see a little bit more in hand where, yeah, the Geoxys part comes through. I could use a little bit more of the, like, old school, like, clockwork gear detailing the original toy had, but I don't think the exposed wires are a bad alternative. I still think he looks pretty good for Vector Prime. Yeah, it's a nice toy overall. It's a nice little modern second attempt at it. The original one was quite a bit of a brick, as far, compared to the rest of the Cybertron line because of how it transformed and its electronic engineering. Having a more posable one is very much a good thing. Obviously, the vehicle mode is very different from the original. The original didn't have the tail fin. The original was a little bit longer, didn't have that radar dish at the nose. It was closer to the back. So it's a little bit weird. They've changed it up quite a bit, but it's still appropriate. It still looks enough like Vector Prime that I can kind of go with it. So we will accept it as a different take on the character. It's still pretty good. It's still pretty good. I'm looking forward to this one too. That's just me being a big Cybertron fan. So of course I'm looking forward to it. Now, the Legacy United Versus Pack, which is Cliff Jumper being mercilessly outnumbered. We have in-hand shots of this one, so we get to see a little bit more of this. We've seen this set as well, so I'm not going to go on for this too long. It still is looking very good. Chase does, admittedly, make a good Cliff Jumper from Prime. They blend together pretty well. The more I see the Tarn, the less I like it, which is a big thing for me. Also, yeah, I'm happy to see that there's a little bit more you can do with squeeze play, rather than just like have that big like floaty like snake crab looking head thing floating above his body. It's still a little bit weird. But yeah, the more I look at the Tarn, the less I like it. I mean, it's more inspired by how he looked in Cyberverse, and I understand that. It's a way of repainting the toy and still making it recognizable. It looks like he has Joker lipstick on. No, I'm not big on that. It just feels like it's a little bit too overly detailed at this point. It's not really hitting me especially hard. It's okay for what it is. It's okay for what it is, but, I'm not a big fan of it. I prefer the look of the original. So they are the listings do say that they are reissuing the original one somewhere down the line. So don't go buy in a big multi-pack. Just get your hands on Tarn in any shape or form. You will have another chance to get the other one. So I would say hold out if you're not completely in love with how this one looks. The Tarantulas is odd. It's not the original. Why did the pictures get smaller? It's not the original brown from the original toy. It's using orange to kind of emulate the translucent color it had, which is okay. It's at least a little bit more realistic in spider mode. I'll give it that. It's interesting that the robot mode does defy the original prototype to match better with the packaging art Black Arachnia they released, which is not a bad idea, but there is still that part of me that wishes that this was just dead accurate to the original prototype we never got. Squeeze play we've seen plenty of. Nothing really more to say. It's a pretty simple figure overall. Yeah, it's just kind of like a checks the box off type of repaint and retool. It's still an interesting set. I'm still getting the set. I will probably part out and sell the Tarn, but the rest of it I'm looking forward to. Either as just really good looking figures like the Cliff Jumper, or just to fill in some G1 gaps. Here's something unusual that just hit this morning. Takara announced that the Prowl that they were releasing for the Earthspark toy line, which famously uses an actual Prowl mold instead of Rodimus, has actually been canceled, which is weird. They listed pre-orders for the toy. The toy was due out at the end of next month, which is, for something that has to be on the production line to be shipping out in just over a month, is kind of weird that it would get canceled. This feels very late in the production to cancel it. This does kind of go in with something we heard from someone with Figure King magazine's new issue that does unfortunately confirm that, at least in Japan, Earthspark is completely canceled, which means the show, likely is getting canceled after season 2. We can debate on why all the time. I did a whole video about why the real reasons are. We might have to hit on it again if it's made official. It's a shame, because I was absolutely planning to get this Prowl, because it is even Earthspark or otherwise, this is a really good looking Prowl toy. And it's, leagues different than, the one that Hasbro's doing, which is very bizarrely a Rodimus repaint. Why? I don't know. It is a disappointment. I was looking forward to that figure. So, oh well. One more. I guess that just further confirms the inevitable there. We also have some in-hand and comparison shots to the Hot Wheels Optimus Prime. It's not being released, but a few people got it early. I don't get early gifts from Hasbro like this because I I'm a little bit too honest about how I feel about Hasbro sometimes. I'm still convinced I'm on a blacklist somewhere. But it does show just how big the toy is compared to, a standard G1 Optimus Prime. That said, that is the missing link on the left. You can get a version of the toy on the left for $70 as opposed to the $80 that they wanted for the one on the right, which is now $150 via scalpers on eBay. I hate how Mattel handled this. I mean, it's what you expect. I mean, it's a nice little tiny G1 Optimus Prime that seems to do everything a G1 Optimus Prime typically does, and its packaging is very, very, very clever and good. So yeah, you can see there about 96, about 96 grams. And then moving on to the big missing link prime, which is 162. Yeah, it's at least like way denser than a normal Hot Wheel toy. I'll give it that. So I know I don't think that justifies $80, but there you go. A little bit from YOLO Park. So this one surprised me. We have a 2-pack on the way, homaging some Japanese repaints. And this is from their AMK mini line. We talked about these. I'm a big fan of these particular figures for how inexpensive they are. The Optimus Prime has been redone into Delta Magnus, which is looking good in the black and the blue. And then Starscream was redone into Sunstorm. And it amazes me that YOLO Park is the company that actually does a proper looking Sunstorm after all these years. Like, there's a weird like chain of like, here's the original Sunstorm, and then a history of this toy and this character being given new figures that are 100% wrong and don't come close to looking like the original two-tone orange with the white gloves. This is how Sunstorm should look. So YOLO Park absolutely nailed it. So these mini kits are usually about $10 for how articulate and nicely detailed and painted they are. This, I can imagine, should only be like $20 since it's a 2-pack. It is a BotCon 2024 exclusive though, so expect to pay a lot more than that because it's BotCon. But nice for the collectors out there. There's something weird to grab. Speaking of weird, Super7 posted this image, which I have to zoom in on because now we're getting to smaller pictures. This got me excited because for a second I thought they were actually going to be doing like a Super7 Ultimates of like Japanese of like the old school G1 Unicron, and this is actually in his prototype colors no less. No, they're just repainting the standard one. That's all it is, which is a letdown. But hey, it continues the goofiness of them doing any kind of like toy-based Unicron in the world. So I'm sure a collector's gonna eat this one up. Not me, but someone out there. Did you like having Beast Machines released as an official album? Because they're going to do it to Beast Wars as well. I can shrink down again now. All right, and that is, let's see, June 28th. They are releasing the soundtrack for Beast Wars, which is a really cool thing because Beast Wars does have some pretty good music we've never heard clean before. So that is actually pretty exciting. It's about a month away, so looking forward to that. There is a rumor, as long as we're talking about music, there is rumor that Brian Tyler is going to be doing the score for Transformers 1, which is a big deal because he is the composer behind Transformers Prime, which did have some very good atmospheric music. If he's doing the composing, that's actually going to be not only some Transformers legacy into the production cast, but also just a really good performer. I'm looking forward to that. That has me more confident, because it seems like they are spending good money on this movie between the casting, the animation quality, and now bringing in some veterans from Transformers. All good for me. All good all around. We have a stainless steel Megatron helmet by Custom that is being produced. This is ridiculous. So yes, you can see production there. I assume production there, or just something they got off of Getty Images. But, yeah, there's an all-steel Megatron helmet on the way. You can spend about $1,000 to get your hands on one, and then, shipping from overseas, which on something this big and heavy is probably going to be ridiculous. It is made to order, however, I don't know if anyone's going to be able... I don't know how many people are going to be after it. There is compared to one of the RoboSens, it's pretty huge. Oh my god, I think I'd break my neck trying to wear it. Gee, but I guess if you just want a big Megatron helmet made of steel, and you don't want to get the mask the helmet toy that got released, I don't know. This seems weird. This seems like a really weird thing to make. I don't see where the audience for this is, but we will see how it goes and how many people end up with it. All right. We saw blurry pictures a while back that hinted that GameStop was going to be releasing Transformers-themed controllers via cotton candy. So this one we didn't see, which is the Devastator controller, which is really cool. I like how the wing of Devastator looks across the front of the controller. So the way this works is Candy Con. I said cotton candy. I'm hungry. I didn't eat lunch. So this one, as you can see, the way that CandyCon works is you have like a standard controller that they sell, and then just shells that you can pop on and off to customize your gaming experience. So yeah, you can buy the controller and then just buy all of the different shells for your Transformers collection, and then just swap in and out as you will. So you don't have to buy 4 full functioning controllers to get all 4 of them. You just have the one controller and then all the plates and thumbsticks, which is actually a pretty cool system. Here is the Hot Rod controller, which looks good. I like that they've chosen designs that are very, like, the chest is very iconic, so which kind of makes sense and works for this pretty well. Jazz as well. This is the other one that we didn't see from the initial leak. Looking good as well. A little bit more standard, a little bit more plain looking compared to the others. The Soundwave, I think, is really clever, including Laserbeak in the center as well. I really, really like this one. If I go for something like this, it'll probably be this one. But my Xbox controller's still doing pretty good. My Xbox controller's still doing pretty good. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm gonna go after something like this. But it is cool. It is really cool. I need to see how the CandyCon controllers actually function. Hopefully this is not like a, hopefully this is not just like some really cheap junk controller that's not going to work very well. It's not a Mad Catz. It's not a Mad Catz controller. I gotta look into that one though. Oh, tiny picture time again. eHobby's doing another wave of those little plastic bio cards for Transformers. So who we got this time? Who's this wave? We got Artfire and Stepper. Okay, so some Target Master love there. We've got Titanium version of the Fallen, and the Power of the Primes Optimus Primal, the one that was repainted to be his normal like Season 1 colors. This is amazing to me, the weird things they choose to put on these cards sometimes. Really, the Titanium line has one of these like bio cards. This is absurd. It's ridiculous. Like look, you even have the Throne of the Primes from the box, the cardboard thing in the back. Ridiculous to me. Waspinator and Cheetor. That feels like characters big enough to have come much earlier than this, but here we go. 87 and 88 they are. So the Waspinator one's neat. Look at this. These are neat. Oh, and then, Star Saber and Victory Leo. Of course. Looking back on some of these, like G2 toys have gotten these. I want to say like even Euro G1s have gotten some of these. And then they take this long to get around to Star Saber. It's weird to me. I've never gotten any of these. Maybe the Star Saber if I see it somewhere weird. I don't go to many Transformer conventions though, so not a big chance of me running into things like that. Okay, do you need a backpack that represents your new favorite Transformers movie? So Transformers 1 has some back to school merch down in Mexico, which is this Orion Pax backpack featuring his character art. As well as a soft pencil case. So if you really want to rock your Orion Pax when you go to school, you have options, or you will, because I assume these will be released in the U.S. Around the time the movie's launched. And then to finish it off, Sales 1 is producing some Transformer-based jewelry, including these best friend necklaces with moving arms and legs. Weird that necklaces would be articulated, but there you go. Yeah. They're very, very, they're affordable. Let's not use the negative term that I was going to use. Let's say they look very affordable. There's also a necklace that's just Starscream in his vehicle mode with a Decepticon symbol as well. This one is a little bit nicer. You know, because it's not like they're not trying to produce a full painted figurine. It's just like an emblem necklace, which does look nice. And then you have stud earrings for the Decepticons, which I ask where the Autobots are. It seems a little bit unfair. That my ears only get to be evil. But that is the weirdest thing that came up this week, which means we're done with the news roundup. Like I said, a lot to cover this week. So if you made it through all the way, thank you very much for watching. And as always, I will see you next time.